Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's September 2nd. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this is going to wrap it up for the week. Uh, no chart lessons on Fridays, and then Monday will be a holiday, a Labor Day weekend holiday, so it'll be a long holiday. I'll probably take the whole day off tomorrow. I hadn't made up my mind yet. I may come in and trade for just a little bit, but I probably won't do much tomorrow. If you don't see a chart lesson tomorrow, you'll know why. Actually, not a chart lesson because I know you won't see a chart lesson, but if you don't see a mid-morning chart by say 9:45 Central Standard Time, then probably know I probably took off. So I'll probably put something out regardless, so you'll know. We won't be waiting around on that mid-morning chart if you're looking for that. So a little slow today. There's some movement, but there's not a lot of trades today. Really kind of a range day. My guess is things are going to probably be even slower tomorrow going into the long weekend. I would expect that we'd probably get back to normal by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. A lot of people may take Tuesday off too to recover from the long weekend. So it may be by Wednesday before things start to pick up. But I think after Labor Day, you'll see this market pick up a little bit, pick up some speed. That's generally what happens. We've actually already seen some volatility increasing over from what we saw the last few weeks of July was just really tough. So August tended to pick up a little bit, and I'm guessing as we go into September, it's going to pick up a little more. So summer months tend to be that way. A lot of traders take off, go on vacation, spending time with their family, things like that during those June and July and early August months before school starts back. So that's pretty common. I got a lot of questions about when is the market going to pick back up over the summer, and generally by August and by September after Labor Day, things really kind of get back to normal again. So anyway, let's look at today. We started up early, but once we topped out here, we traded down. And somebody actually asked me, you can see we had a break and a couple legs up to a new high. I wasn't convinced that we wouldn't go higher still, but eventually we turned down here, and it looks like there's a two-tiered channel working lower. I don't have this one colored. Let's just put a color coding on it so maybe you can see it a little better. But you can see that red two-tiered channel working down through there. Um, I really didn't trade it. It just gave you an idea of where prices may be going. It would have given you, uh, actually it should be down here. And you can see the midline coming into play right there. And what's interesting about this is long before, I think what's happened here, let's see here, let's back up. This should be lower like this, and then that's why I was off a little bit on the bottom. Somehow I'd moved it a little bit. But you can clearly see that midline coming into play from both sides there. And that generally tells you you're in the right direction. And you can see we came back here and kind of tested it as well before we went higher after we pushed through it. So I believe that to be correct. However, I didn't really use it to trade. It doesn't really come in handy for you. It might have given you, I don't even think it would have given you this target because it wasn't real clear off of these prices here. I probably would have played it more like that, and that would look for your target to be down here. We never got there. Um, so it really doesn't help you. So I didn't really use it. I use these shorter term, more micro ones. I think they're more helpful and they keep you on the right side much easier. So that's the way I saw it. And you can see it's really just a range day. We did trade outside the overnight highs, but not very long. And mostly we traded within the overnight highs and lows for, I mean, really, we traded between the highs and the lows for the majority of the day because we made this high just after 8:30, and we never got outside that again, and we never got outside the lows of the day either. So that's a range day overall. It's a fairly big range though, because I mean the lows are down here around 45, 16 or so, and the highs up here at 45, 54 or so. So that's a fairly large range day. So these are some good trends within. There's not a lot of trades today though. So this is not going to take long. So let's back out here. You've seen the big picture. And early on we were trending up here, and this people ask me this a lot. They'll say, "Well, I saw this trend line right here. What's wrong with it?" There's nothing wrong with that trend line. It's just a shorter term trend line within this larger trend, and you'll see that. the Excuse me, I had a little something in my throat there, but you'll see that a lot. The market is layered, and so there's trends within trends. This is somewhat sideways here. This is a range kind of within the trend, and you'll see that over and over. And you'll see trends within. Like there's a trend here, but it looks like we kind of spiked down and went into this flatter trend. So nothing to say that the one you saw is not right. But that's why you see it like this, because the market does tend to be layered, and you'll get different layers over and over and over. And you'll have trends within trends, uh, ranges within trends, trends within ranges, uh, ranges within ranges, congestion within trends, congestion within ranges. So you're going to see all that. So this is probably correct, and you ran up here, you got to close outside, and you could have found a fairly decent target on this one. There's your first leg. There's your correction, and that would have given you your target. And lo and behold, if you put that right on there, it hits it exactly to the tick. And we'll see that over and over. This stuff works. This market geometry works. Is it 100%? No, but most of the time it will work. There's actually another range across here. You didn't really get any consistent highs and lows to trade, so I was really trading inside these smaller trends here. This was not easy to trade, and so I mean, even if you put the range on here, it might have given you a couple of more trades. You might have had a short right here, but it's just so congestive that it doesn't make it worthwhile. And I don't see any reason to go short here because the signal bar doesn't work. So I don't think it really helps you. It might have given you a little more confidence to go long here, but you got that little trend channel working down, and I think you're taking a big chance of going long right there. So I just don't think it helps you either. It's just one of those days where there's not a lot of good setups, no matter how you read it. And there's a couple of different ways you could have read that. I mean, this is sideways stuff, but there's little small trends up and down. I think you were better off to trade the trends. So let's talk about the trades. First trade came right here. This really confirmed the trend line too. You draw the trend line off those first two swings, and it comes back right here. This is just kind of sideways. This was a breakout of this area and kind of a breakout pullback, but it confirms that trend line, and you've already got that first leg up, so you're looking for that second leg to start up. So I like that trade. There's actually a failed second entry short here, and you might have considered it just because it is off the trend line, but generally I don't take these unless they're off the EMA. I'll just tell you, very, very seldom will I take a trade like that. It's a possibility if you want to be aggressive, because it is a failure and it is off a key entry point. It's just a little bit further away from the EMA. I mean, if this was the first push away from the EMA like this one, I'd say, yeah, maybe you take it. But I mean, we've been away from the EMA a while by the time you get to here. So a little too long for my like. We come up here, we finally get a break, and you get a second entry right here, but unfortunately, not a good signal bar. If your chart had a good signal bar, by all means, go long right there. That's a no-brainer. If you have a good signal bar, it's not there, though. There is a higher low here, and it's one I might have considered if it hadn't made that inside bar. I mean, it's very low risk, 4 ticks, but it's looking like congestion, and so it's not worth taking. I think you skip it, and then you can see it pushed up. It would have worked, but it sells off quickly. And notice we're running down. You get a first entry and then a second entry, and it fails. So you want to go short. It fails one tick below that bar right there. It is a little congested, but I still like this because it's probably going to be a lot of longs that are going to have to exit. I honestly thought we'd make another leg down like this one, but the buying came back in. But it's a quick, easy scalp. The good thing about, I forgot to talk about this one, if you catch this one trade, that may be all you need for the day. Or if you were aggressive with this one, it's probably all you need, because you get a runner on both of those easily. And this early runner, I mean, if you just took it to here, you only get a little over around. You could probably get a couple of points out of that one, but if you took it till it breaks outside the channel and closes outside the channel, then that's to here, and that's 7 points. So if you just get half of those or 5 of those, you probably had a pretty good day. So, but anyway, you run up here, you get the failed second entry. Quick, easy move, but you don't get much more than that out of it. And this is where it's hard to know what's going to happen because we just kind of go sideways. And then we run up. At this point, this is the first break of this. Looks like a little spike in channel. We spike into the blue channel. I mean, you start here, and so it gets confirmed right here. No setup to go short really, but it is confirmed. So it looks good to me. But you get this close outside, and you get 2 legs up, and you're way away from the EMA up here. So I like going short right there on a second entry, looking for this to make a new low. Turns out that's not what happens, but that's what you would expect right there. And there has been a little bit of resistance right across that price level. So the second leg down like this may start there. But again, no such luck. It's a quick, easy scalp. This is a little bit aggressive because we have pushed through the EMA. And this is actually a reversal right here. Notice the low, first entry, second entry. I like this trade too. And looking at it after the fact, I probably would mark that. It is a failed second entry short, so it's a little bit aggressive. But I was so busy with this short that I missed this in real time. So I was just not in. I was still managing this trade here, so I missed this one in real time. But after the fact, I'd take that just about every time. So we didn't have a new low yet, so that's another thing to think about it. But when it came back and bounced right off the previous resistance and it acts as support, you just about have to take that trade. And it's a pretty good signal bar too. So, but we run up, we make a new high, and actually, I may have read this a little wrong altogether because technically you got this shorter term with a break and new high, and then you get 2 legs of correction. And you get a triple test here, or a double test, or whatever, however you want to look at that. But this, because this really never gets confirmed all, you can see it looks valid, and we didn't get back to the highs right there. So, and I guarantee you there's some of you that may have got burned on this second entry because it is a first entry, second entry, especially if you were reading it with the green channel like I was kind of looking at it. But you can see you get the break of the green channel and still a move to a new high before it sells off. So I think they're both valid. This one just does, the green one doesn't really get confirmed. You get the break too early. So that would scare me away from that second entry right there. And if you look, you got this big bar right here. Look how all these bars are kind of printing inside that. That's not a good sign. Something to be aware of. You don't always worry about that, but in this case where it's kind of hard to know exactly which way prices are going now, and you notice I don't have any trades marked in because it's getting hard to know. I mean, prices should have went higher. They should have went lower first, then they should have went higher, and they didn't do either. And then you're starting to get this sideways stuff. That generally leads you to think, hey, we're going into congestion, going into the range. You can see the EMA flattening out. So it's hard to know what's going on here. Only thing you can do is trade these little trends. And you can see this one's coming down. We get a break and we get a new low. We end up going on lower, but it still plays out. This one's moving up. You get a close outside, move to a new high. But no good short there because, again, look at all those bars stacked up. It would have worked, but you don't know that. And then you get this one working down, but you don't get a setup. No failure or anything until way down here, and that's too late. And then you're in congestion again. There is a triple test down here, but again, that's congestion into the EMA. I actually like going short right here because you've pushed lower than you have at any point, and you haven't made it. You've got a close outside here, but no new low, and you make a first entry, second entry, and that's a fairly bearish bar. I would have preferred it to be under the EMA, but because it's above it, it's still valid, but it makes it a little more questionable or aggressive, and so I mark that one green. That's probably the trade of the day. but it just doesn't set up perfectly. You could expect this. There's a couple of different reasons you could go short here now, so pay attention to this because you may not understand this otherwise. First, it's a second entry short. Second, you got a little range here, congestion, and it's a failed breakout. So that's another reason to like it. Plus, you're looking for a new low on this channel, so there's a third reason. There's several reasons to like it, but the real problem with not liking it is it's above the EMA. So it's just a little bit of a concern there. It does, like I said, it turns out to be the trade of the day, and that's the move of the day almost. And you don't get a chance to get in it. There's no setup here that I like at all. You might have looked at that as a failed breakout because there is some consistent resistance across there, and we get a little bit higher. It turns up and then turns down, and then you get a lower high here. This actually turns up again and then turns down, but you're having to go low at the low of you're having to go short at the low of the move right there, not the low of the day, but the low of the move, and that's never a good idea. But that's two more. You could say, hey, you know, no better a trading day it is than this. I may want to risk those. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one there. You want a down arrow. So those are two you might consider. By the time we get down here, you're way too far from the EMA. And then you get your first break of this green channel, and you get a first entry and a second entry and a nice signal bar. Finally, it looks like we get an easy setup, and it is an easy scalp, but you don't get anything else out of it. It's just that kind of day. You don't even make a new low here. So turns out we're in this yellow channel now, and this turns up. I don't see any reason to try to go long there. And notice you made a new low though, and you get a first entry and then a second entry. So there's a second entry short there, plus you got this channel working down, first close outside. The problem is you got a channel working up, and that's the first close outside it. So it could bounce here and turn up. So the key here is, do you have enough room to get out before that EMA? If you do, you take that trade. If not, you probably skip it. And then we confirm the trend line here, but no setup. And then you come back and you make a higher low here with a nice bullish bar. I like going long there. Just looking for it to go to the other side of the channel. And it actually shoots on through here and breaks higher. So this is a little bit higher here. And that takes us into 2 o'clock. So yeah, not a great trading day. This is a little tougher for most people to read. You get flip-flopped on, and there's just not a lot of good trades there. I only took one trade today myself, so it's just not, there's not a whole lot here. So if you didn't find a lot of trades, and or if you struggled to find, you felt like you struggled to find trades, just because they're not there. So it's just one of those days. Even though we had some pretty good movement, there's not many trades. So they don't set up really well. And you have days like that. Tomorrow you may come in and you get 10 setups that are simple and easy to spot. But some days you don't. And that's what separates good traders from bad traders, is good traders are patient. They don't bother them if they don't take a trade. They only take trades that they see and they recognize and they feel confident in, and they're confident in the read. They don't gamble, and they don't take a lot of chances, and they don't take a lot of aggressive type trades. Just the way it goes, and that separates the real traders from the average traders. So anyway, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to wrap this up, start my weekend most likely, but I hope everybody had a good week. I hope you have a great extended holiday. Enjoy the day off, get a break from trading, come back fresh. Most likely I'll see you Tuesday. This is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And we'll see you next time.